It is 1 o'clock on the West Coast, Hug Nation time all over the world. It is Hug Nation time in whatever time and space you are receiving this vibration, this bottled up bits and bytes that is transferred through the internet, saved on a server, projected, received, amplified. Amazing. Thank you for being here. Before we get underway, let's just take a moment and get present. So much of life is spent catching up, following, achieving to-do lists. Let's just get into the now for just a second. Take a deep breath. Become aware of the sensations that you're feeling in your body, the sounds. What temperature are you? Do you have areas where your skin is exposed and others where it's clothed? Take a deep breath and feel your chest move and your clothes move. So many riches in the now. Thank you, universe, for this gift of awareness. Help us to appreciate the blessings in every moment. Amen. Welcome. Oh, goodness gracious. This is the post-Thanksgiving Hug Nation, which means that it is Christmas time. Actually, it was Christmas time months ago in the eyes of our consumer culture, but really, they pulled the trigger on Black Friday. And so I want to spend just a moment or two talking about Christmas. Well, and by Christmas I mean Santa. You're familiar with this story, right? There is a mythical, omniscient being that no one ever sees, but is aware of everything we do and holds over us kind of this punishment if we've done bad and rewards if we've done good. And, oh wait, what am I talking? Is that God or Jesus or Santa? I don't know, it gets confusing. I'm having some trouble feeling okay with the Santa mythology. And because it is so, becomes so a tool of our consumer culture. Christmas morning is exactly now the way it was 2,000 years ago. We gather around in a manger. Wait, no, it's nothing like that. Think about why, what was going on the Christmas morning, or December 25th, the year Jesus was born. Actually, that's not a good example because he wasn't born then. It was probably an empty manger, probably smelled terrible. Never mind. Okay, let's start over. Okay, so Santa Claus is what they call an evolutionary story or person. The Santa that we know now is nothing like the Santa that was originally part of stories hundreds of years ago. And there's all sorts of different stories that it's kind of an open source myth that came together, and there was it took from this tradition and this tradition, and then really kind of became part of the popular U.S. culture in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then really got its big punch in the arm when the Coca-Cola company adopted it as one of their marketing aims. And it makes sense, it's got the color scheme and everything. Although the original Santa pictures don't look anything like the Santa pictures that you see now. But he evolved with the help of the Coca-Cola company into what we see now, which is this awesome guy. And it makes sense to have a central figure for this holiday that is really all about gift giving, because it puts us in the perfect state of mind of consumerism. And it's scary and it's dangerous, because if you think about you see these signs, Jesus is the reason for the season. And I am not a Christian, although I'm a huge fan of Jesus, in the same way that I'm not a Buddhist, but I'm a huge fan of Buddha. And I love the Christmas story. I love the mythos and the symbols of the story, and I love the fact that it has been kind of, they moved the date to the solstice-y time so that we can kind of leverage and have this additional evolutionary story where we bring these myths and stories from all different cultures and go, okay, what is this time about? Is it a time of a birthing of a Christ consciousness, of a miracle, of the going from the longest days of the year back into the light days of the year? And from the metaphor sense, this idea of a birth of a Christ consciousness in us is just an awesome thing to be reminded of once a year. This renewal or rebirth, or a opening up of our mortal selves into our more divine potential. And when you think about the gift giving of the wise men, these men who are incentivized and drawn to this miracle, to this return, or the Messiah, that it's their drive, or their incentive is this joyous celebration of this child. When you get into when you get into Santa, suddenly it starts to become this kind of like weird payment consumerism stuff. And it's a shame, because I love the idea of gifting. I talk about it all the time, and gifting as a process, and gifting as a celebration, an unexpected celebration of somebody else, and I want to make your experience, your day, your moment, your whatever, your now better. And by doing so, I see you light up, it makes me light up. That's awesome. And yet so many people, because of the way we've had this indoctrined demand for gift giving, were robbed of what gifting really is. Because if you are expected to give a gift, there is no joy in it. There's only the potential for feeling lost when you don't live up to the expectations, which, man, I'm not sure if you've ever seen a Christmas morning when a kid did not get what he thought he was going to get. That is like the most deflating Christmas experience of all time. It's like, oh man, there's all this, and yet you're unhappy because you expected and didn't get the Xbox or the pony or whatever it is. Now, am I frozen for others? No? All right. That being said, I would like to just put out there the universe that I would like a pony this year. And if I don't get it, I will demand figgy pudding, and then I won't go if I don't get some. Side note, what kind of a song is that? Bring me some figgy pudding? I won't go until I get some? Why are we teaching children these kind of demanding, ransom-like songs? I don't get it. Okay, but I'm back. So let's go back to the whole idea of the Santa story. And if you've got small children in the room that are expecting Santa to come to their house this Christmas time, you might want to ask them to leave the room. Okay. So, let's say, hypothetically, that there is no Santa. I'm really conflicted about this institutionalized deceit that we pull over on children. And I wonder how much it affects the very anti-spiritual, anti-church sentiment that we go through. You go through this kind of cycle when you are, 7, 8, 9, of you're like, oh my gosh, the adults in the status quo have totally duped me. And then you get a little bit older and you learn more about the way the church has behaved throughout history, and you go, oh my gosh, they duped me again. And by that time, you're so like, I'm done with you people and everything you've taught me about these things to believe that are beyond the physical. And it's no wonder that people retreat to a stance of atheism, because it's almost like you get, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, or wait, how's it go? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And, you get your first shame out of the way with Santa, and the second one is with Jesus or God or whatever. I'm assuming, that is if you have had the experience of feeling misled or betrayed by the church, which I had that experience, and a lot of other people I know have as well. So it takes a huge amount of forgiveness and openness to kind of return to being open to anything that these liars might have to offer. Does anyone in the chat room have vivid memories of learning that Santa was not real? I can remember being on the playground, actually in the bathrooms, and hearing kids talk about there's no such thing as Santa. And I was like practically holding them by the lapels and being like, stop it! Stop it! You keep this up, you will get no presents! Like feeling like I was like a street corner preacher saying, you're gonna go to hell! I'm looking out for you! Don't do this, please! Don't throw this away to a life of damnation and no presents! Belicious was sharing a story with me about how she got into some heat with her classmates when she just demanded in tears and fought for her beliefs, and then was informed by her parents that, okay, your friends are right, we've been lying to you. And what a harsh thing to go through, to like fight for your beliefs, fight for something that and we teach this lesson that so many people in our culture go through, of that you're going to be misled, and then you're going to defend your beliefs, and then you're going to find out that you're defending lies. Like, what a deflating, no wonder we have apathy. So I don't want to throw baby Jesus out with the bathwater, because there is a beautiful tradition at the end of the year, beginning of the new year, of this gathering with this recognition of a Christ consciousness being born within us, and with gifting. And I think it is possible to return to a gifting mentality when you can kind of pull it away from the consumer pressures of our culture. It's unfortunate that in our culture we have this massive buying tradition from Thanksgiving to Christmas, and that chapter is when so many retail businesses find their way into the black, or is it into the red? Black, into the black, I guess. And so there's so much pressure to do all these sales at this time, and by no fault of our system, it's just that's the way it works. Many people need to make sales right now for their businesses to survive. And so everything about our culture, including the decorations, the songs, the media, the TV shows, the clothing, the radio, everything is about this hypnosis towards the gift-giving, purchasing, buying. And so without sabotaging our commerce system, I just want to talk a little bit about gifting and bring it back to a place that can be really more soul valuable. And the person that I think about in this realm is my grandpa. My grandpa is someone who I always think about with Christmas time. One, because he had white hair, and occasionally he would grow a beard and could play a mean Santa. And by mean, I mean awesome, not like raging. It was a jolly Santa. He played it well. Maybe that would be a better phrasing. And also, he, sometime when I was in, I guess, high school or so, he decided that it was ridiculous how much money he was spending on toys for his grandkids that would just kind of rip it open, look at it, and put it aside and go to the next one in this kind of orgy of consumerism. And so he started buying us charity gifts. And so often he would find somebody, a friend of his that was doing some sort of missionary work, and he would send them money on our behalf, and and we'd get a letter based on where our our gift. And I'll be honest, when you are hoping for G.I. Joes, the idea that you are helping someone out of slavery in Thailand is not that rewarding in the moment. But long term, I thought it was really beautiful. And so as we went through the years, he often used a company called heifer.org, which has a cool program where they have all sorts of animal gifts that are sustainable and that grow within a community. For example, you might get you might get chickens for a family that then can get eggs from it. Or you get 2 goats for a family with the assumption that they'll get milk from one and then they'll breed, and then the children goats will be given to other members of the community. And there's all sorts of these kind of packaged things that are they're gifts that lift up a family or a community long term. And I think that is an awesome way to return to the gifting. Another awesome way is in the personal aspect of it, and trying to either give a gift that is personal to you, or in purchasing a gift that is made with hands. It is so difficult nowadays to find handmade things in our lives. We have such a disposable culture and such a mass-produced culture that I look around my house and see what here has been touched by a human hand. Most things are automated, most things are machines, or most things done in factories in other countries, and it's really. I understand that there is an importance to consumerism and to cycling money, and so it is another great way to be in the gift-giving culture and gift buying and purchasing without kind of feeling like you are a pawn of the system, is by frequenting or going to a craft fair, or Etsy is a great site, Etsy.com, with all these people that make their own things. I've been putting posts on Facebook and on AnyBeat asking for, hey, do you or anyone you know make things? Because I'd like to do my shopping in a very personal way. I'd like to do things either local or personal, and trying to get gifts. Another option is just to do so with intention, and print out a photograph and write a letter, letting somebody know how they feel about you, or scheduling some activity, maybe even scheduling a photo shoot or scheduling a video interview if you've got some skills. Maybe you have web skills and you can do a little thing where you say, on this date I want to interview my nephews or my parents, and I'm going to put that online for their kids to see. My grandpa would always say, so wait, this is going to be on the internet for as long as there's electricity? I'm like, that's right, Grandpa. I mean, assuming I pay the hosting bills, which, in this economy, I can't promise that. So if you are in the chat and you have an Etsy store and you have not yet shared it on AnyBeat, please do so. It would be nice to get more examples. Let's see. Mr. Plymus says he goes into the Forge or into the art studio. The Forge? That sounds hardcore. Sweet. So, who here has done who here, why don't you type in the chat room how old you were when you figured out that Santa may not be real, if you can remember. I was 34. Okay, no, I think I was pretty old. So I was like 3rd grade, I think. So I was, or 2nd grade, so like 9, something like that. Okay, so we're gonna do a Hug Nation hug. And 7 or 8, yeah, nice. And we were going to get focused on the birth of the divine in all of us that is potential in every moment, actually. All right. So wherever you are, let's give yourselves a squeeze. And know that even though the media is in its yearly frenzy to focus us on purchasing and consuming, that we are perfect as is. Everyone we know is perfect as is. And if we can find some way to let them know, amplify that knowledge in them, and that can be with a gift. The magical gifts are the ones that say, I know you, I see you, I think you're amazing, and I think this little token of that awareness will make you light up a little bit more. And so let's squeeze ourselves and acknowledge that those tokens are part of the physical realm, part of the human realm, the body realm that we're squeezing right now. And that body, that shell that gets panicked about not having, and that gets kind of maybe proud at times, or maybe feels the gluttony of consuming. Nothing wrong with that, but let's remember that that is just a surface level experience of who we are. And deeper than that, much deeper than that, is who we really are, which is someone who is content and complete and an expression of the divine. And as Christmas approaches, is a time to become aware of the opening of that divinity in us and the birthing of the divinity in us, and really trying to create a manger, create a safe place for that to grow, and so that we can gift to that part of ourselves. And in doing so, as we uplift and encourage and support the divinity, the love inside of us, it becomes a gift to everyone. So let's just take a deep breath and feel that love in us and feel that love in all. Take a deep breath. On behalf of Caleb and all the Love Warriors, happy Hug Nation. Merry Christmas! I love you! Namaste.
You only live once. Enjoy the color.